thank you for tuning into BrandPlus TV. It's always a delight knowing that you have taken your time and are keeping us company. My name is Ndiro Ganga, ready to bring you up to speed with all the top stories making headlines. And as you know, we're all about business. Here's a glance at some of those stories. SME Fest 2018, championing the cause of SMEs, a key economic driver. Ethical Leaders Network, ethics and business, can they really coexist? Sugar and Ethanol Africa Conference, casting the net wider, a key discussion point at conference.
Ethanol is very cheap today.
Global Trade Center Nairobi launched, newest and tallest building in town. Thank you for staying with us. Now on to our top story. The SME Fest 2018, in its third year, officially opened its doors today at the University of Nairobi. The two-day event, a special business-to-business edition, is focused at improving growth of intra-country and intra-Africa trade that is spearheaded by the small and medium-sized enterprises. It hopes to achieve this by bringing together a network consisting of key leaders and organizations in various sectors and thought leaders in the SME sector. Our reporter Daisy Ombo attended the festival and brings us the following report.
The event, which is organized by Open Business Africa in partnership with the Kenya Private Sector Alliance and the Ministry of Trade and Cooperatives, is set to attract over 500 curated attendees featuring business icons, investors, entrepreneurs, policymakers and industry leaders from various enterprises and institutions. Leonard Nderi, the representative from the Agribusiness Division under the Ministry of Agriculture, graced the event and said that SMEs play a key role in triggering and sustaining economic growth.
SMEs play a key role in triggering and sustaining economic growth and equitable development in both developed and developing countries. We can conclude that SMEs are crucial growth engines contributing to job creation, GDP and industrial development, while at the same time helping to satisfy local demand for inputs and services.
The CEO and founder of Open Business Africa, Muthoni Ngatia, said that the purpose of the festival is to create a platform where various stakeholders can deliberate on policies and their suitability.
The purpose of the event is really to create an engaging platform where, policymakers, for example, come and hear the feedback directly from SMEs in terms of, how whatever policies are creating, how is it trickling down? Is it working? Is it not working? Really in an interactive way. It doesn't have to be the hard research approach, but really in a more bottom-up kind of feedback approach.
She continued to state the role played by the SMEs in economic development.
98% of all the businesses in Kenya are SMEs. We're talking about over 40% unemployment rate in Kenya. One of the biggest opportunities in supporting the development of SMEs is creating employment opportunities, because when a business expands, it requires 1, 2, 3 more persons, and that becomes the starting job of many graduates or school leavers. And so the biggest opportunity is that we create thriving economies in our local, urban centers, and sustain livelihoods in those urban centers. But most importantly, we begin to keep our economic power rotating within those centers, and that is where we can actually build strong communities that actually can economically sustain themselves.
Lucy Muchoki, the CEO, Kenya Agribusiness and Agro-Industry Alliance, was in attendance, and she outlined the challenges that affect the SMEs and in turn slow down economic development.
Indeed, we are looking at what are the issues affecting our SMEs, and we know them. Very simple. And they have been like this for many years. It's an issue of accessing the markets, the issue of finance and credit, is an issue of capacity development for them to be able to put up clear business proposals that can be able to be presented, to be pitched, to be able to take them from one corner to the other, to be able to transform. Today, every 5 businesses, 4 of them don't make it. So you can see the issue is big. It's a very big agenda.
She urged that the SMEs be grouped into value chains so as to improve their chances of attaining the markets they need.
With our SMEs scattered everywhere, you cannot be able to reach out to each single SME. So indeed, what we are trying to advocate for, let these SMEs be clustered along one single value chain. If it is a horticulture, let them come together. What is it that they need for them to be able not just to access the local market, the regional market, and the global market? So we need to see how we can support them to attain those standards for attaining or acquiring the markets that they so much need. So indeed, we are going to support them in not only the standards, we are also trying to see how we can support them in developing real business model.
Application that's used just use your normal camera.
With the micro, small and medium enterprises making up to 98% of businesses in the country, while creating 30% of jobs annually, the players in the sector are hopeful that after the conference, various stakeholders will put in measure to continue promoting the sector, to continue growing its overall contributing factor to the economy. For BrandPlus TV Business News, I am Daisy Wambua.
While Kenya is working towards transformation into a mid-income nation, efforts toward this end are continually hampered by corruption and misuse of public resources. It is through this realization that the Ethical Leaders Network was founded, with the sole purpose of promoting integrity in leaders who can then spearhead Kenya's holistic transformation through changing business by entrenching ethical culture. Our reporter Karari John attended the monthly breakfast meeting of the Ethical Leaders Network and brings us the details.
Ethical Leadership Network is a voluntary group of Christian leaders who contribute to Kenya's socio-economic development by exercising a leadership of integrity. It connects leaders from government, academia, civil society, corporate, and business. While addressing the members, the guest speaker, Principal Secretary, State Department for Planning, the National Treasury, Dr. Julius Moya, spoke broadly and with emphasis on the role of ethical leaders in businesses in the attainment of the Big Four agenda.
Ethical leaders in the Big Four agenda, to me, it injects a very important element in our discussion, because this will help us to consider something that, in my view, is very important, which is human capital. And if you ask me, I'll say human capital is the most important input in any development process, in any development discourse. And I want to say,
he further illustrated how the ethical business community can tap into the opportunities that exist within the midterm government development agenda, that is the Big Four.
In participating and serving in boards, in government institutions, in participating and serving in committees, and this will ensure that the policies that are formulated, as well as the laws, the rules that are enacted, do not only support the Big Four agenda, but meet some of the critical thresholds which are important in promoting ethical behavior and also sustaining profitable businesses.
We
The PS went on to point out the possible impact of ethical culture in the society, both in the public and private sector, that will translate to socio-economic growth of Kenya.
Ethical leadership, in my view, and also behavior, can go a long way to address waste, and we have a lot of waste in our society. So addressing waste and help stem the cancer of corruption, which leads to misallocation of resources and suboptimal outcomes, such as stalled projects, such as lack of public services, and the list is very long. Farming that is informed by...
According to the chairman of Ethical Leaders Network, Lawrence Mosa, building an ethical culture in business is the only way to get transformation in the right way.
Right across the board, from the youth to our leaders, if we put ethics and doing things the right way, then we will transform society. And let me put it this way, ethics is... or integrity is doing the right thing even when it does not favor you. And that's what we believe in ELNET.
Also to say,
the chairman further reiterated that the Ethical Leadership Network has made a number of contributions, which include Value Foundation of Kenya's Vision 2030, Kenya's 17 national values and principles, and the formulation of Chapter 6 on leadership and integrity in the 2010 Constitution.
We were very instrumental in the drafting of Vision 2030 in the Constitution. And we are seeing transformation. We are seeing some of our members are actually in government, believe it or not, and championing the causes of Chapter 6 of that Constitution.
Even as the government shows sustained efforts in fighting corruption, what remains clear is that without a culture change towards a leadership with integrity, the fight is in vain. Reporting for BrandPlus TV, I am Karari John Wambugu.
The Sugar and Ethanol Africa Conference on its second day had a diversification in the African sugar industry top of the agenda. Officials from different states deliberated on the all-important matter that determines the future of the sector. Here's the report by Elsa Tino.
So this is a pricing report that the U.S. Grains Council...
Globally, sugar is considered a strategic commodity with a malfunctional input in economic and social improvement. It is for this reason that the Sugar and Ethanol African Conference brings together officials from around the globe with the common goal of securing the future of this important commodity and challenge innovation in the sector. In attendance was Peter de Klerk, senior economist, International Sugar Organization, who said, with the fuel prices at the pump increasing significantly, there is an opportunity for the sugarcane industry to utilize the 10% ethanol blend that is available to it.
With fuel prices at the pump increasing significantly in Kenya, there is an opportunity for the industry, the sugarcane industry, to utilize the 10% ethanol blend mandate that is available to it.
Ethanol is provided.
He further urged the government and the sugar industry to expand not just economic production, but also ethanol, which is produced from molasses byproduct.
The government and the industry should combine to expand sugarcane production in Kenya to feed the sugar sector as well as the ethanol sector, where ethanol is produced from the molasses byproduct.
The largest quantities of sugar are being...
In order for the sugar sector to remain competitive, factories are focusing on not just improving factors of sugar production, but its diversification as well. Without a doubt, Kenya is a deficit country in this front. And the question begs, for how long will the annual deficit be covered by cheap imports which have negative effects on the local millers? Reporting for BrandPlus TV, I am Elsa Atieno.
Africa is rich in natural resources ranging from arable land, water, oil, natural gas, mineral, forest, and wildlife, holding a huge portion of the world's natural resources, both renewable and non-renewable. With the responsibility that this calls for in terms of conversations, the last few days saw key stakeholders convene for the 7th special sessions of the African Ministerial Conference on the Environment. Take a look. Aviation Industry Corporation of China, a state-owned aerospace and defense company, today launched an ultra-modern 47-story building in Nairobi Westlands area. The mixed-use development project, Crescent Global Trade Center, now stands as the tallest building in Nairobi. It is estimated that the undertaking costed 20 billion Kenya shillings. Take a look.
Welcome to GTC and thank you very much for joining us today.
The mixed-use development project located at the heart of Nairobi has been a work in progress for the last 4 years. Upon 100% completion, it is expected to bring forth massive economic benefit to the country, key among them being the attraction of at least 5,000 global companies set to set base in Kenya. The managing director, Avic International Real Estate Kenya, Wang Long, says the development continues to present Kenya with both job and investment opportunities.
This project has many advantages. For example, this project is a job creator. Now, under the construction phase, we more than 2,000 employees working for this project, directly and indirectly. And we also made, and also is a tax creator. According to my statistic, this project has gave the government tax more than 18 million US dollars tax for this project. And this project can be a commercial opportunity creator. If we complete this project completes in 2020, this is our time schedule, and will introduce many people, many commercial business elite to come into enter into Nairobi from every industry. If we talk each other, it will create a lot of commercial community.
Away from direct financial investment, foreign investment brings with it knowledge exchange, as envisaged by local developers' shift in strategy in favor of mixed-use development models. The strategy supervisor marketing department Avic Brian Mwangi says the Global Trade Center, which also uses the model, happens to be the most convenient economic development model currently.
What happens if you see the traditional way of real estate? We never used to have mixed-use development. We used to have, like, for example, we have a separate office, we have a separate apartments, separate hotels, but now in Kenya, things are changing. We are moving to the modern world. So basically, when we came up with the concept of mixed-use development, it means that we are cutting costs in terms of, that is, economy, whereby people now, when we centralize people can cut costs on transport. That is now the main thing. Then another thing, for example, the people who are working from international companies, they don't need that kind of movement, whereby you are moving from point A to point B. They would just like, whereby they are centralized, they can just walk from their homes to the offices.
French windows which are full length and they allow in natural lighting.
Even as more foreign investors continue trooping into the country with such major infrastructural developments, experts argue that for Kenya to become the ultimate investment hub in the sub-Saharan region, a lot more needs to be done.
Of importance is we need to give them confidence, whereby, for example, if I invest something in Kenya, or if I invest my property in a certain country, I know that I'm safe, and the locals, the government, they are going to be of help to us. For instance, let's talk of certification. The government is very much willing, and the locals are also willing to partner with us in terms of work. So that is why actually the main thing is investor confidence.
As the Global Trade Center, the biggest development by Avic in the whole world, redefines the Nairobi skyline, we do hope that with it, more than just a spectacular view, but both direct and indirect benefits of the development shall be fully realized.
Children's art playground where we have...
Now let's shift gears and take a look at the day's market performances, and here is a summary. That is how the markets performed today, but for more in-depth analysis, tune in tomorrow at 8 a.m. for my next big bet with Rachel Nderitu and Karanja Daniel as they carry out an in-depth analysis of the financial markets and other investment opportunities available for you. Well, that's all the time we had tonight on the Business News Desk. On behalf of everyone that made it a success, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Good night and enjoy the rest of your viewing.